Yeah, the National Front in the runoff for the second time in 3 presidential elections. It's the top segment of our campaign beat with Charles Pellegrin. And we say hello to Charles. Actually, no, it's second time in 4 races where the National Front is in the runoff. 2002, back then it was a huge shock.
Absolutely. Back then, the result had been more of a surprise. Pollsters did not really see that coming, the Front National, in the second round. That April 21st at 8 p.m., it was announced that Jacques Chirac, who was a center-right conservative and was running for re-election, got 19.8% of the vote. And that far-right leader, Jean-Marie Le Pen, the father of Marine Le Pen, had 17.4% of the vote, just ahead of Socialist Party candidate and Prime Minister Lionel Jospin. The French left was left in shambles, and there was immediately a large movement to prevent the Front National from going to power. Protests were organized around France on May 1st to march against the far-right party. Organizers said that 900,000 people were in the streets, while police said there were 400,000 people. Either way, by some measures, it's still the largest protest in France in the 21st century, and there was a real sense of outrage. Let's take a listen.
We want to tell anyone who didn't vote that they have to wake up.
We're talking to people who vote and the whole world, telling them we don't condone this.
We think Chirac is going to win, but we can't be too complacent.
We want our children to grow up in a free country, so that my son can grow up with his friends Amin, Abdelkader, Awab or Benjamin.
So 15 years later, things are quite different. Pollsters correctly predicted that Marine Le Pen would make it to the second round this time around. And this picture, taken from the French version of Slate, highlights this change of mood. The top line says, the French people's reaction to the Front National making it to the second round, and the rest is in the universal language of emojis. And as you can see, in 2017, the general mood appears to be slightly jaded about the Front National compared to the surprise and outrage of 2002. This shows the transition of the National Front from fringe party to a somewhat normalized mainstream party. The one thing that this graph gets wrong is that the National Front now has actually an additional 3 million voters.
An additional 3 million voters. The 2 mainstream center-left, center-right blocs are calling for what the French know as the Republican Front.
Yes, the Front Républicain. It's existed as long as the 1950s. And in other words, this means an alliance to defend the, quote, values of the French Republic, a.k.a. to not support the National Front by engaging in tactical voting. Back in 2002, the Socialist Party's candidate Lionel Jospin instructed his voters to cast their ballot in favor of conservative Jacques Chirac. And today, both the Socialist Party and the Les Républicains Party called on voters to support centrist Emmanuel Macron. But here again, things have changed in 15 years. Mainstream parties have lost a lot of sway, and so-called anti-establishment movements are on the up and up again. Movements like that of Jean-Luc Mélenchon of the far left, who considers that Macron and Le Pen are equally bad, leaving close to 20% of voters with no instruction as to who to vote for.
Médiacrates et oligarques jubilent.
The media and the oligarchy are jubilant. For them, nothing is so beautiful as a final round between 2 candidates who both support the status quo and who show no concern for the environment or for the peril facing human civilization.
Aucune prise de conscience écologique.
Yeah, we'll be picking up on those remarks by Jean-Luc Mélenchon in the France 24 debate. You were mentioning earlier the National Front trying to sell itself as perhaps more mainstream than it was back in 2002.
Yes, there's been sort of a sanitization process going on. Since 2011, under the helm of Marine Le Pen, the party has done a lot of efforts to change its image to appear more mainstream. Their score and their popularity with younger voters suggests that has worked. Marine Le Pen has scored 25.7% of the vote for people between 18 and 34 this time around. And the name, even Front National, for instance, doesn't appear as much as it used to. The campaign prefers focusing its attention on Marine and her personality specifically. That's another thing that the party has done is gradually push the founder of the party, Jean-Marie Le Pen, to the side. He was famous for his extremely controversial statements, like saying that the Holocaust was a point of detail in history. Well, he spoke today, and he believes that his daughter would have done better by sticking to the original tone of the National Front.
I would have preferred a better score, but I'm satisfied so long as we're qualified for the second round. I believe that a more energetic campaign and a less sanitized one would have had a more impact. But that's just my personal point of view, and I'm no longer a candidate.
Well, just a quick anecdote, François. Jean-Marie Le Pen sent a congratulatory text to his daughter, and apparently he didn't get a response yet, at least not until midday this afternoon.
All right, so a bit of jostling within the party. That shows what that anecdote indicative of that. Charles Pellegrin, many thanks.